Hello Flosstube, welcome back. I am Jenny. This is my channel Stitching Jenny. Today is April 1st, 2025. It is currently spring break, so I have some time that I can meet and talk about what I've been doing for the last 4 months. And as far as like quick life updates, things are going really well. After, I think last time I talked to you, I mentioned that a parent at the school I work at tried to run me over with their car, and so I was taking some time off. I have since gone back and have been doing really well, all thanks to therapy. So this is just a shout out to all those therapists out there. A good therapist can make a huge difference. I would not be back had I not gone and done therapy. As far as spring break, my plans are to do a lot of fully finishing. I have a project that I'll show you that I need to for sure get done for my sister, who is going to be in town Friday. And let's see, the weather is kind of a joke today. Last week we had gorgeous 65, 70 degree weather. Today it is a high of like 47 and it is currently snowing. So not the most spring-like weather. Well, technically it's spring for Utah, so that's actually really common. And of course next week back to the 70s, which is actually unusual, but mid upper 60s is pretty normal this time of year. So kind of a joke that our spring break would land in the worst weather of the 2 weeks on either side. This is Flosstube number 22. I have so much to go over. I will try to be somewhat fast. So let's start with fully finishes. So my first fully finished, I no longer have, but I do have a video that I'll insert here. This is Peachtree by M Designs. It is from a Just Cross Stitch magazine. It's on 28 count Monaco, stitched over 1, using Coats and Clark's number 189. This is floss that my sister-in-law gave me from her grandmother. Her grandmother passed away, and I thought it would be a great memorial piece for her to have, for my sister-in-law to have something to remember her grandma. And my sister-in-law's favorite color is green, so that's why I stitched this piece for her. And I did finish it. I mentioned like Helen D, her tree tutorial with the little stand. And if I were to do it again, I would not do like the curved shape of the tree, because it made it really difficult to get like even on both sides, to get that fabric in there. I think I would have done just slightly like tree shape, maybe slightly rounded on the corners, at the top and the bottom 2 corners. But it was just, if I were to do it again, I would not do it the shape. I thought it would be great and fun, and not so much. It was really difficult to finish it that way. So just a tip for those who decide they're trying to be ambitious. Let's see. So my next one, I also have a video of, because my daughter stole them. Well, they're hers, so she didn't steal them. These were Christmas presents for my daughter. I'm going to insert the video. Okay, so I finished 2 of the Arctic Animals 2 ornaments for my daughter. This is the puffin. She wanted it just super basic. It's got some blue chenille trim on the edge. In the back, this one has the brown ribbon. It's really cute. And then this is, I think, a seal. It has the fluffy white chenille trim. Both of these are actually yarns from the craft store. And then the back, again with the same ribbon, just white. And that's how they look. I think these are on 32 count. Picture this plus dwarf linen. And if not, I will tell you otherwise. So these are going back up with my daughter to school today up at college. And they're hanging in her room. They were meant to be Christmas ornaments, but she said they're too cute to put away. So can't really complain that she loved them so much she wanted to take them up. She was waiting patiently for me to do a video, and then at the end of Christmas break she's like, no, I'm taking them with me, Mom. So I can't blame her. So kind of to go along with that, I have finished another, I believe it's, ooh, you know what, there might be snowflakes, but I will show you because we just talked about it. This is another one of the sets. This is the Orca. And I believe it still has some white snowflakes that I need to put in, but other than that, it's done. So I have a couple more, I think 2 more. One's like a weasel. Anyway, I don't remember what all. They're all white. That's all I remember. Lots of white. So anyway, super cute. Highly recommend. I have a second set that she wants me to do. I might do those on, see if I can get like a 40 count, so then they'll be smaller. I thought they'd be small enough for the tree, but they're going to be still pretty big. So anyway, super cute. Really enjoyed working on those. Another fully finished I have is called Christmas Crow. It is by Pixie. This is what the chart looks like. I did make a couple of changes, which mostly it had to do with the words, and I added some sparkle. So just so you kind of can see what the difference is. So this is my fully finished. So let's do it maybe. Let's do that. Oh, crow down. Okay. Who knew it would be so tricky? Okay, so that. Trying to see all of it. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so this, you can kind of see the sparkle. I used Petite Treasure Braid, the silver, and then like here, so then it kind of almost looks like a jingle bell with like little bows on his belly, kind of like that. And then I used Black Crow, maybe one of the crow. Yeah, I think Black Crow for, actually I wonder if it says, yes it does. So this is stitched on 32 count blue gray linen with classic Colorworks ribbon red, grasshopper, and Gentle Arts Black Crow is the black. And then I turned it into a door hanger, and of course I had to get some sparkles. It says, "Dear Santa, I want shiny things, please." And my daughter loves crows and ravens, and so this was just the perfect piece for her. And it's just a little flat finish for her door, which she loved. She was so excited about this. And my oldest was very jealous. She kind of wanted it too. So there's that. That was a great stitch. Highly recommend that chart for anyone who has someone who likes crows. My next finish is Oh Holy Night by Emily Call. And it calls for a black fabric. I stitched mine on a 32 count navy. Nope, it's 28 count. 20 count navy, probably a Joblin, not a Lugana. It was a little bit thicker fabric, kind of more cottony feel. So maybe a Joblin. I haven't ordered a Joblin in a really long time, so I don't remember what the difference is. Sorry, it's a little bit dusty. It's been sitting out waiting, waiting to be displayed or shown to you. So anyway, this was a really great stitch. I love stitching nativities. I like to try to keep my front room mostly like nativity oriented. This is the back. It is a flat fold-ish, so I do kind of more of an easel back. You can kind of see that there. And use kind of the same method. If you have done a flat folds finish, this one's a little bit trickier, but it's the same idea. You just do a smaller piece and try to keep it centered on it. Instead, it's a little bit trickier than just a regular flat fold, so kind of keep that in mind. And I finished it off with this kind of looks almost like a mistletoe type pick. Anyway, love how that one turned out. And then my last fully finished was a finished and a fully finished all in one, because that's the joy of stitching a bag. Here, let's see. I didn't think about putting a piece of paper in here to show you. This is one of the stitch bags by Shepherd's Bush. So that's what it. Okay. So this is my second bag that I've stitched of the stitch bag. This one I stitched as called for, including the over two. If you do stitch it over two, it fills up the entire bag. However, if you like it cute and small, you know, you could stitch it over one like I did with this one. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to do like a side by side. Maybe like that. I'm not sure how much of that gets in. Yeah, that actually works. So that's kind of the size comparison for you. This one is a gift, and I'm really excited to give it to the person. I was playing thread chicken with this purple floss. I had enough left over after stitching mine that I was able to then stitch this one. I had like maybe 2 inches left of the purple floss though. So if you're doing full size, that purple floss you would need like 2 skeins of. The rest you should be okay. But you would want 2 of the purple. Or switch it to a different color, that works too. But really, I think I kind of almost like it bigger, better big. It was definitely hard to do the bees. It definitely made sense when I went back and read, oh, over 2, yeah. But that's what happens when you stitch a piece at an event. Like, your attention is not always where it should be. So that's all the fully finishes. And then I have several finishes. So first of all, we have my cute Thankful for You. So my last video was like right before probably Thanksgiving, even though it didn't post until December. So I was still stitching Thanksgiving, And so I was able to finish Thankful for You by Emily Call. And this was actually a very, very quick stitch. Bring it over here. There's a little more room. This was stitched on a 28 count mystery green, maybe water lily. This was in a grab bag that my LNS that has since closed had for like $5. They had a grab bag. So I was able to figure out that it was 28 count because there are 28 holes. I mean, technically it's linen threads you're counting, but in an inch. And that's how you can figure out if you don't have it marked. You take a ruler, count how many you have in an inch, and that's what count it is. So I was able to figure out it was 28 count. I think it's water lily. I used called for or the next closest color because I don't remember. This might be one of the pieces that I didn't have. I would have had to go searching in kitted projects for them. And so I might have pulled a few other flosses, but really cute, really quick stitch. That's by Emily Call. I actually really love her pieces. I stitch a lot of them. So next up, I'll show you the original because I did change it pretty dramatically. This is Valentine Quaker by Primrose Cottage. And that's what it's supposed to look like. Okay. And I stitched mine on Pink Dahlia Lugana. I used this was 28 count Pink Dahlia Lugana. I used Classic Colorworks Ripe Melon, which was the called for color. So that's what the majority of that pink color is. And then I saw Deb Stevens on the Primrose Cottage Facebook group. She was adding in the teals and the reds, and I loved it and decided to add in. So Weeks Garnet is the red color, and then Weeks Blue Topaz is the tealy blue color. And I used hers and a few others to kind of decide where I was going to put different colors. I looked at different color things. This took more brain power than I had expected. It actually took me 2 Valentine seasons to finish just because February is a hard month for me mentally and emotionally. I struggle. It's kind of a harder for me to do things that have more mental work because I'm struggling anyway. So this took me a couple of Valentine seasons, partly because of that. So anyway, I love how it turned out. I'll probably turn this into a flat fold as well. So there's that one. Then I had another Primrose Cottage finish. This one, I think, was one of my, might have been a New Year's new start last year. No, I started this actually at Stitch West, and the gray on it was funky. So this is what it looks like. It's called Snowplace Like Home by Primrose Cottage. I changed some of the colors up a little bit. So here's my, let's see, there maybe? It's hard to see. There. Okay, so I used a variegated, let's see, Now this is stitched on 32 count vintage stormy night, and I used gunmetal and heron. Maybe heron is the blue, and then I used gunmetal for the black. And this vintage stormy night, it's actually really easy to stitch on. However, as Stitch West, there was something about the lighting that made it really tricky to see the holes. And I don't know if it was the weird lighting and shadowing, like that it made it just really, really difficult. So I started it there, but never finished it. So I finally finished it. And I always use Cosmo white and black when I floss, when I stitch. They're just my favorites, and I feel like they lay nicer and they're fluffier, so you don't see as much of the fabric. Next finish is one for my sister that I'm going to fully finish. This is the birth sampler for her daughter. Let's use this one. This is called Sea Sampler by Anna Xstitch. I will have the link posted below. What it looks like. This, slide it now so I can talk about it. So I covered up her name and her full birth date, so for privacy reasons. This is for my niece. She was born 2 months early, and because of that, she only weighed 2 pounds. So I kind of changed up the layout a little bit so that I wrote out, instead of the birth date being all numbers, like I have the month, initial, and then the numbers. And then I moved the weight and the length together. And the time I think was always over here. But so just kind of changed that up a little bit. The name is done in like the orangey red color, you can kind of see. And then the rest is in the blue. I thought that would make her name pop, but also like make the other numbers stand out, but still be a little more discreet, not so in your face. And she already has the other 2 pieces hung up in her in the nursery. I made their squares with other, I think one's an octopus and the other one, I don't remember what it is, starfish maybe. But I've already shown that on previous, or you can check my Instagram and see those. And I already had those framed. I sent the frame back with her, and my plan had been to lace this and just mail it to her. But with the Canadian Postal Service's strike, mail was kind of sketchy, and so she was like, just keep it until I come because I don't want it to get lost. Like, I don't know if she ever got my Christmas card that I mailed a few weeks after post had turned to normal. So anyway, so she's coming into town. I'm picking her up Friday from the airport. She's staying with my parents. And so I'm going to have this laced and ready. I had already cut the board for it. So I just need to lace it, and then she can just like pop it right into it. It is like a white, gray, kind of aged, weathered. So it kind of made me think of like weathered wood at the beach, maybe. So that's her birth sampler. Pull off the hair that's sticking on it. And I hand dyed that fabric myself. It's on maybe a 30, what was it, 32 count? Yeah, 32 count Nugana that I dyed myself. Then I have a teeny tiny finish. This is a little ornament. I'm gonna put it on the white side, not on the green word side. This was a super fast finish. It took me like 2 days to stitch it. This is called Joy to the World from a New Creation Studio. I really like it on this. It's 32 count Dove Lugana. I really like this Dove Lugana. It kind of gives like a wintry day evening kind of look to it. I plan on stitching this again for a friend of mine who collects nativities. She was a leader when I was in a youth group way back in the day, and she sends my daughters things sometimes, and so I thought it would be a really great gesture to make her one. This one actually might be the one that I just send to her and make one up for myself, but really love a New Creation Studios nativities. She has several if you're interested in those. Then I have another Emily Call stitch. Here we go. This is I Am Brave by Emily Call, and it's stitched on a 40 count Verdal. It's an even weave that's 40 count. I really like it. If you're wanting to try a 40 count, I would go with the Verdal because it is an even weave. It makes it a little bit easier if you're wanting to dip a toe in. The floss is a Gentle Arts Cottage Blue is what it's called. And it goes from brown to blue. And mine, I used different skeins because, not skeins, different chunks of the floss because some were more brown and some had more blue in it. And so I alternated so that it was more evenly distributed instead of just all brown or all blue. So I alternated which one I pulled from within the same. It all came in the same skein, but each group was a little bit different. So it's already marked for the I Am Loved. I just need to start it. I was going to start it for Valentine's Day and like never got to it because I didn't stitch hardly at all in February. So I think I will save it. The end of the month is my anniversary, so I think I might. Actually, I have a different anniversary piece to start. I don't know. I might start 2 things for my anniversary. I've kind of got startitis, which you will see. Although it might not seem like a ton since it's 4-month video, but I've started a lot of things in the last 2 months. So I won this pattern by Threadworks Primatives Lucky Crow. This was from Helen D, or East Coast Crafter, I think is her. Oh, which one is it? One is East Coast Crafter. I think that's her Instagram account is East Coast Crafter, and her Flosstube is Helen D. But I won this from her and she sent it to me. I picked random flosses. I wanted to kind of brighten it up a little bit, and I used a fabric that my friend Vicky gave to me at Stitch West. She didn't know it had sparkles in it, and so she wasn't going to use it. She stitches a lot of primitive things, So sparkle wasn't really a great fit for her. But I knew it would make an awesome St. Patrick's Day piece. So this is Lucky Crow. Let's see. There we go. And let's see. You can see the sparkles. This is stitched on 32 count. Picture this plus doubloon crystal doubloon. The crystal means that it has the sparkles in it. And I again used random floss. I used that same Gentle Arts Black Crow because it's a crow, so it has to be crow floss, was my thought. Let's see, what else did I use? I used Classic Colorworks Mossy. I think that's the darkest color. I use Sassy Brass for the gold. Then I used Week's Guacamole, I think was, anyway, I used Week's Guacamole, Bullfrog, and then Schneckly was actually supposed to be the gold, but it had a lot of brown, at least mine did, so I used that for the brown of the stems. So that is Lucky Crow. This will probably go to my middle daughter. She'll probably claim it once I finish it. And this needle minder I actually made myself. I just took one of the gold coin, like decorative gold coins, and put a magnet on the back and made a needle minder. Okay, so that is all the finishes and the fully finishes. So I'm going to pause and reset and come back and do my new starts. And there's a lot of them. Okay, I am back and ready to go on my new starts. So I have, my first one is Country Cottage Needleworks Gingerbread Train. This is I'm just doing this one piece for now. I might do the others. So my husband and I kind of have a memory of one of our first things that we did after we met was build a gingerbread house together. It wasn't supposed to be a date. It was supposed to be a big group activity. And they all kind of slowly started bailing on us. And so then it ended up just being me and him. And that was kind of awkward for a while. But because of that, I kind of have, I mean, I always loved the story about the little gingerbread man. I watched it. I loved it. I was very disappointed when I tried gingerbread and actually hated it. It kind of ruined the magic for me. But because of all of that, gingerbread kind of has like a special place in my heart. So on the anniversary of that gingerbread date that wasn't a date, I started Gingerbread Train. And my idea is that I'll eventually have a gingerbread Christmas tree in my kitchen. So that is where it's at. And I stitched on this a lot during that holiday season. This is on 32 count raw linen, and it was the 23rd anniversary of that gingerbread date. But anyway, that's gingerbread house. And this needle minder is actually an old pair of earrings. I lost one of them and was super sad about it, and I had always kept it because I thought it was so cute, and finally turned it into a needle minder. And then we have Matter in Hand by Jeanette Douglas. This is deemed the Octa-Oc Sal. It's the Stitch West Sal that Colette, the Highway Stitcher, and Brenda, what's Brenda's Flosstube? Handwork Maniac, I think. Anyway, they pick a piece together and they kind of chunk it out. I saw them stitching on this in person and it was gorgeous. So I decided I needed to kit it up. My idea is not to do the whole piece, although that's becoming kind of a challenge. My idea was to do parts of the strips and turn it into a drum. So it's become a little tricky trying to decide like what parts of it that I want. Like, do I want to include the words or not, because that kind of changes the height. Anyway, not a ton of progress because of that, but here is the progress I do have. I wanted to start with one of the non-stitching motifs so that when I make the drum, the stitching motifs are more in the front. So this is a really long piece of fabric because I need a long strip. So this is stitched on 40 count platinum. And again, it's the Octa-Oc Sal. And that's one of the clay needle minders by Kim. Clay by Kim. It's one of her needle minders. The only one I've ever been able to get. I'd love to get a dragon, but also I don't know that I want to pay and fight for it, you know? Anyway, I restarted, but they're amazing. They're definitely worth the money. Like, she puts a lot of work and effort to it. I restarted Winter Expanse. If you remember, I should have pulled it out. I had started this piece, had it almost finished when I realized there's something not right. Turned out they sent the wrong floss pack. Like, it comes with floss in the kit. This is an MP Studia kit, and they had sent the wrong floss in the kit. And I was able to contact them. They sent me new floss. I was really upset because I had to totally, like, it wasn't even worth ripping out. Like, I just had to start over again. They sent me a full kit, like, not just the floss. They sent a full kit to replace it, and we're very apologetic. So I restarted. Instead of starting on the sunset one again, I started on the night one, and I'm not super far in it. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell. There is some of the white. Well, maybe you can't see it. I do have some of the white snow kind of here and on the roof line, but then I started some of the brown of the wood of the cabin. This is the cabin, and then this is part of a tree. So that's at least started. I am kind of over winter, so I don't know when I'll get back to that. Then I have Not All Who Wander by Stitchrovia. So behind me is a very big blank wall. We repainted a couple of years ago, and I took everything down on the walls. I have like a half wall shelf thing that I have some photos on, kind of up here. I have family pictures, but we thought it would be really cool to put a big wall of outdoor pictures, like camping pictures, us like at the beach, just kind of our favorite outdoor pictures and have kind of just like a mishmash of things. So I decided it'd be fun to stick in a couple of like travel cross stitch into it. And so I picked as my first one Not All Who Wander, and it looks like this. And I've gotten a really great start on it. That's where I'm at. If I would just sit and work on it, it would be done in like a blink of an eye. Maybe I'll take this one. We're going on a vacation in June, so maybe I'll take this with me when we go on vacation. It's on 32 count antique white Lugana, and it was my New Year's Eve start. So I think because it's a Lugana, it'll be easier to work on. Maybe not. Anyway, so maybe I'll take that and kind of get some stitches in on that. Then I have Pine Crossing by Robin Pickens. And one of my finishes is I made a bunch of bags. So this is one of my bags I made. I love cardinals. We don't have cardinals in Utah. It's one of the few states that don't. The only cardinal I've ever seen actually was in Hawaii. So I wanted to show that off. This is using the Helen D's bag tutorial. I want to try another bag tutorial. I want to try a few different cloth bag tutorials to see which cloth bag I like best, because I have a piece, a cross stitch that I want to stitch and then turn into a bag. I think it's called Counting's Hard by Luminous Fiber Arts. And so I want to try out a few bag tutorials. I do like this one. I don't love that the lining is kind of bunched up inside. And so I have another one that I'm going to try and see if it lays a little bit flatter, nicer. But I love it. It's super pretty, and I love how much it holds. It holds a ton. So if you're looking for a great size bag, I really like the cloth bags that are that size. This is my start. And I need to make a working copy because it just gets too crazy. But the counting, and it's like a lot of offset from each other, which I struggle with. So I need to make a working copy. The place that I normally go to do it, they've changed how the payment style works. So basically you're losing a ton of money. And so I'm not, because you have to buy them in chunks of copies. And so if you don't make that many copies, you lose that money. It's supposed to like be recredited, but it never does. And I'm not willing to do that. So I need to try another place. I think that's the FedEx store. I need to try the UPS store maybe and see. Unfortunately, our library does not have a copy machine. And I can't do it at work. They don't like us to do that because it's, you know, school money is kind of sacred. So anyway, and then I have the cute needle minder from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery on there. I think that's one of my new ones that I got during their sale. I bought several needle minders, but yeah. Then another new start that I have is Sweater Weather by Satsuma Street. It is the cute Yeti. And I was supposed to start this with my sister, and then she kind of didn't start it, but now I think she's finished it. So he's super cute. He's got a good chunk of him. Again, we're just kind of feeling over Christmas. He'll probably make a reappearance in like July, because I see everyone stitching Christmas in July, and then I get antsy and want to do it too. So that it would be a good one to pull out. Then I have Erin Elizabeth's Blossoms and Birds. Right there. And I started this one kind of around Valentine's Day. Let's see, this one is on another mystery fabric from that same grab bag. It's kind of got a bluish green gray tint to it. I kind of love my little needle minder. He's in love with the cactus. Anyway, so this I think might be French lace, but I don't know. That seems pretty true right there as far as color goes. And I'm using all the Cottage floss. I took this to Pine Needles and stitched on it a couple of times at Pine Needles for their stitch night that they have. Then these were started the week of my birthday. My daughter was home for spring break from college, and so we went on a trip. And when I travel in the car, I usually can stitch if it's on plastic lace or plastic canvas, so I do a lot of that in the car. So this was a kit from Riolis that my sister gave me the leftovers to. So she's already stitched everything. It came with enough floss that I can probably stitch a few more. And so she gave it to me. I just bought some more plastic canvas, and I started on one of the eggs. I realized basically once I got to this point that the provided for plastic canvas is 10 count, and I'm using a 14 count canvas. So the 2 threads that I'm using is actually too much for it. So I'm going to finish this, and it uses a different kind of thread. It's like an acrylic wool. So it really is super chunky in there. So I'm going to finish this egg, and then I will do my next ones with 1 thread instead of the 2. And the one I'm working on is this one right here. So then I'll probably do this blue one next. So I'll probably work on that this weekend. And that one I think is called Easter Eggs by Riolis. Then I started another while on that trip. We went to Goblin Valley in southern Utah, and they have a lot of cool like hoodoos and stuff that you can climb on and like pretend you're goblins. It's great fun. And it was warmer than it was here, so we were all for it. So this one, because I started in the car, I had a mistake, and several actually. But this is what that kit looks like. It's by MP Studia. And I started with this little basket. I had like the base of the basket pretty much done other than the hearts. When I went to add in the dark pink, I realized that I got two of the symbols mixed up and had been stitching the whole basket with the wrong color. But that was after I had messed up my counting and had ripped that out and restitched it because the hearts weren't going to be heart shaped. I had to rip it all out and I refixed it. So that was like 2 hours of fixing it to then later discover I had stitched it all in the wrong color. So I stitched it in white instead of light pink. So I had to rip all of that out. Like there's still, you can still see like some of the white down here that needs to keep coming out. But I spent my break, like while I was subbing the other day. And so while the kids were at specialties for half an hour, I spent a half an hour ripping out the floss. So, because I figured, well, that's a good use of time. Get out some aggravation. It was a great class. I'm not saying they were. It was just kind of funny. Anyway. Yeah. So, don't maybe start things while you're on a trip in a bouncy car. Maybe do it while you're just sitting. Yeah. Good times. Let's see. Then my other new start is Spring is Hope by Teresa Kogut. And I liked the colors of the picture. It's really hard to see her photos. But that's not what they're called for. They don't look like that. And so while I was at Pine Needles, I pulled flosses so that it would look more like what the cover photo looks like. Because this bluey color on the edge, it's actually black. And her dress is actually like a brown pink. More brown. And I wanted it bright springy colors. I like the sentiment, spring is hope. I suffer from seasonal depression, which is why February is such a hard time for me. So for me, this is very much how I feel. Is March hits, the weather starts changing, the days get a little bit longer. It's not as gray, it's not as rainy, snowy, like it's the green's coming back. So for me, March really is the month of hope. Like I feel a lot of hope. So this pattern really spoke to me because of that. And so I have a good chunk going on her. So I probably should have just pulled the colors that I have. So it's being stitched on 32 count vintage Sahara, which is like vintage Country Mocha and vintage Stormy Night, but a yellow, like a light yellow color. I liked how the colors popped on it. And let's see. So I'm using, this was my birthday start, which is actually kind of funny because it wasn't until I was watching my friend Amy J Creations. Anyway, she'll be linked down below. But when Amy had mentioned, like, oh, was my friend Jenny's birthday start, like maybe if she does another bunny birthday start, it was a birthday bunny Sal is what I did last year, and I'd stitched a bunny, which you'll see later. It's in my WIPs, but she mentioned that and I started laughing because I watched it the night before my birthday and I was like, that's actually really funny because I picked a bunny to start for my birthday. And so she actually said she would start the companion piece for the piece that she stitched for my birthday. So this was my birthday start. My birthday is March 12th. So Anyway, so that's that. And the colors I'm using, you won't see the green yet, but the green is Jolly Holly. This dark blue is Chesapeake Bay. These are by Classic Colorworks. Sea Shelly is what this light pink is. There's a darker pink that's Strawberry Parfait. And then Weeks Blue Heron is a lighter blue that will be the Birdwing. Birdwing? Yeah, Birdwing. And then Weeks Garnet will be the dark center of the flower. It's kind of a ruby reddish color. So, oh, and I have to tell you about these needle minders. Freaking cute needle minders. My daughter made these for my birthday. She made them out of Sculpey clay. And I love them. Her attention to detail. She rolled every little quill for my hedgehog. Every one she did individually and attached them. Anyway, super cute. So they went on my birthday start because they were a birthday gift from my daughter. And she's super talented. And then my last new start is Easter Wreath by Emily Call, and this is what that looks like. And so I have a good chunk on this one. This one is my Sunday stitch right now. And this is where I'm at. Those colors. I love them. You can kind of barely see the light blue there. And like here. They're show up a tiny bit better in person, but I kind of like that it's more of just like a hint. Like I thought about changing it, but I do kind of like more of the hint that they're there. So anyway, this one has gone really quickly. I think this is 4 days worth of 3 days, 4 days, 4 days of work. So pretty quick considering. And I'll probably have it done this weekend, maybe next. Depends on how often I stitch on it this week. But love Emily Call's colors and designs. They're so good. And that's all the new starts. I'm going to reset and do my WIPs. So like I thought about just doing this as a WIP parade, but I did have some finishes and a couple of things that I wanted to show. So I'm going to quickly switch over. Okay, now it is time for WIPs. So again, this was kind of from end of November on. so many things that I've stitched. So I kept working on Gather Together by Hands On Design. This I started at Stitch West, and I am changing the blues because I bought some things for my, I'm adding kind of a blue color to my fall decor. And so I added I changed the blues to pull that in a little bit. So that's where I'm at. And this is stitched on, let's see, 32 count platinum. And this is what I think is actually the called for. Pretty sure. Yeah, 32 count platinum. So, anyway, really like how that one is. This is a needle minder I got at Stitch West that someone gave me. So, anyway, there's that one. Then I have Christmas delivery, which everywhere I have it's written as special delivery. So, you know, that's a thing. And this is by Cottage Garden Samplings. No. Yeah. Cottage Garden Samplings. And this one is stitched with one thread on a 36 count that I'll tell you in just a second. So the colors on this one are beautiful. So pretty. I really like it on this fabric. This fabric, my goal was to make it look like a winter night, like a really dark winter night. And so this fabric was perfect. It's stitched on 36 count. Picture this plus Mirage. And I'm using one thread. I tried it with two, but it just made the stitches look sloppy. So, and again, this needle minder is a Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery needle minder. I really like them. They hold things really, really well. So there's that one. Then I have the Arctic Animal Sal. So this Sal actually just finished this month. Like the day after my birthday, the last piece came out. But I have another one of the bags that I made. I actually made this one too with the flamingos. And then I made a couple for my sisters. But this one holds my Arctic animals, and I put on the needle or the scissor fob that someone gave me at anyway, I think I know who it was, but I'm not gonna say so I don't ruin it. Anyway, but I did want to show say bend stuff. Okay, so this is where I'm at. This is going to be a project for my daughter. I thought I'd at least had them done. And this is what the finished one looks like. And this is where I'm at. I thought I'd at least had the puffins done, but apparently, here, let's do it like that. Apparently not. So, I'm so behind, guys. So I am working on the puffins, and yeah, there's a whole nother row of animals. The mountain, my daughter's thinking she doesn't want the mountain. And to just bring down the Aurora Borealis. So I need to look, because I did dye it specifically with like more green at the top. Yeah, that would work, because I definitely want to include that green part that's there at the top in the Aurora Borealis. So since it was dyed specifically for that, so yeah, and she doesn't think she wants the word Arctic animals at the bottom. So I need to play with the pattern, print out that pattern, and see if I can make it work without the mountains, or at least smaller versions of the mountains. She just thinks it's kind of strange to have random mountains, like snow mountains. Like, I'm sure they're icebergs or whatever. But anyway, so it needs to get worked on. But again, I'm kind of over winter, so I don't know if I will. I should just stitch a cute animal. If I was nice, what I would try to do is get it done for her graduation at the end of the month. But that's not going to happen realistically. Let's just say it's not happening. So I shouldn't stress about it, right? Even if I put full effort into it, it's not gonna happen. My next one is my oldest WIP. It's a Kiss for Snowman. This is a Dimensions Gold kit. I forgot to say my Arctic Animals, it is stitched on a 36 count that I dyed myself, but using 2 threads. So this is on the calls for the provided Ada, which I hate. And I think that's a good chunk of why it's my oldest WIP still. And my goal is to get this done this year. I have started in on the background right here of the half stitches. I need to finish her hat. So, and then the background should be pretty quick, but I just hate how crunchy the Ada is, and so it's painful to stitch. And so I do have another kit. I love the pattern. I love how it looks, but I do have another kit that's a Santa Claus that I am for sure switching out the fabric for, because I hate stitching on this, but I love the pattern, so I'm just kind of plugging through. Let's see which one is next. Look of the Irish by Rio, or this one is a Mill Hill kit actually, and all I have left are the beads, and there is a ton of beads on it. A ton. And you can tell I started the beads right here. So I have brought down, I didn't stitch a lot in March either. I did bring down some things to help sort the beads because they're mixed together, and so we need to kind of sort them out a little bit, and it'll be a little bit easier. But super cute. Just need to buckle down and do some beading. So really like that one too though. Then I stitched on Castle Homecoming, which is another Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Sal, which I don't know if I mentioned that's what the Arctic Animals was. Was a stitch along from Frosted Pumpkin. This was another year-long stitch along that I did with them. This one's for my daughter. It also is finished. I think that shows everything. This is also a fabric I dyed myself. This is a 40 count per doll that I dyed to look like clouds. I think it was super successful. I made a lot of changes in this. Like I let her pick the colors for her dragon. I've added sparkle floss to a lot of things, like the crown jewels, the unicorn, the little bits of magic. Anyway, I started on the tree, and that's kind of what I worked on. Again, the Frosted Pumpkin needle minder that actually went with the stitch along, and a dragon button that I turned into a needle minder. So this one's a lot of stitching, so I need to just pull it out and work on it. It'll be a good summer piece, I guess. What I should do is make this year the year of gifts, because I have a lot of gifts that I want to do. So maybe finish up the gifts and focus less on seasonal stuff. This one was my New Year, New Start last year, and I hadn't touched it since New Year's. So This is Hindsight, Winter Wonderland. That's what the called for looks like. If I have a picture, so my LNS that closed, they had a beautiful model of it that they changed a couple of things for it. So if I can find the picture of it, I think I put in my notes which it is, then I will post that one here. And that's how I'm stitching it, is to match that. So it's on a navy Lugana. Let's see if it says, I think it's 28 count. Yeah, 28 count navy Lugana. And I'm doing the conversion from my shop. Again, another Frosted Pumpkin needle minder. So I was able to, when I picked it up, it only had about that. And so I finished all of the word winter. So then I just need to start the word Wonderland and then get what's underneath it. But that's a lot of white stitches, which would have been good for my March WIP Go call, because it was white, but I didn't. Like I said, I didn't really stitch in March, so I didn't do a lot. Let's see, next is another older WIP. It's Biscore New Dawn. I started this as a stitch along with my sister. It's beautiful, but over one, which we didn't know when we bought it. So I have finished all the purple outline, which is the biggest chunk of, I finally was able to finish that. And this is a needle minder that I stuck in the middle for decoration. So anyway, I've got the majority of it done now. So now I can do like the fun detail work. So I think it'll go faster. And then the bottom, it's just a little bit of a border of that purple and then a fancy middle. And it came with like all the beads and even a little bit of the fluff. I think I will use way more fluff than what they included, but anyway, so this one is a, is it a Riolis kit? Yeah, it's a Riolis kit. So, and it came with all the floss and stuff. So there's that one. Then it was like, oh, it was President's Day. That's the holiday. So for President's Day, I pulled out Sweet Land of Liberty by Cherry Hill Stitchery. If I think about it, I'll put in the picture of it here. If not, it's mostly done. That's what it looks like. There's like the pot here that has, I think, a couple of flags and then more of this vine over here. So it's mostly done. It's on 32 count Graceful Gray, which is a little lighter than I was expecting. You can see the white in person, but it's not super distinct. So just very pale gray. And this one takes longer than you would think. There's a lot of color changes. It's beautiful, but it does take a lot longer than you would think. So that's another goal, to finish that one this year for sure, because it's close enough. And then we have my birthday start, which is, I call it BFF Bunnies. What is it? It's like the Friendship Series BFF Bunnies by Luminous Fiber Arts. And this was my birthday start last year. And I did like hashtag birthday bunny sale or something like that. And so I pulled this one back out. Let's do it this way. And this one is stitched on 32 count Nessie by Picture This Plus. And I think I may have changed some of the colors on it. Or I used the call for, I think what it was is I used the call for colors, but I had to change my fabric at the last minute because they didn't show up on the tan fabric color that was called for, or that I had that I was going to use. And so I switched to this Nessie, and I actually love it for spring colors. Like, it just makes them pop. And I don't know if you can get, it has a tiny bit of like a green hint to it. So it lends itself really well to those bright spring colors. So anyway, love this one. And I think I can probably finish it because I just have to duplicate this over here and then finish off the border. So I worked on this in the hotel and was able to do like most of the bunny and this on our trip. So I think the other things would go in really quickly. So I just need to sit down. I think that'll be my first thing that I work on this weekend is this. I might start something new too. Because I like starting new things right now. All the things. So that is all of my WIPs, which you've seen like majority of my projects at this point. Then just really fast. So my plans to do WIP Go this year, I did very basic things. So looking at it, it's things like white stitches. It's like something I haven't touched. That was the Biscore New Dawn. Something with an animal in it. That's probably when I worked on the Arctic Animal Cell. An oldie but a goodie, a kit, something close to a finish, a gift, a series, so black floss, one floss. Anyway, so pretty open still, which I had been really successful until March, but like I said, I didn't really stitch much in March or February. So I need to look and see what this one is. I think one was an oldie but a goodie for April. So kind of like maybe not my oldest WIP, but one of my oldest WIPs maybe was kind of my idea for that. As far as really quickly end of year numbers, I finished 16 of my 24 WIP Go goals. I had 31 new starts, 23 finishes, 24 fully finishes, plus I finished 2. I helped Colette, the highway stitcher, finish 2 for a friend. I stitched 277 days last year. I had 7 WIPs carried over from 2023. And my WIP count at the end of the year, this is not a current WIP count, is 34. I think I'm at 38 or 39 currently. So, which my sister is rolling on the floor laughing right now, I'm sure. So that is kind of like, I won't go super into detail about goals. I did buy a ton of things. I was gifted a lot of things. But I'm not going to pull all of those out. The only things I'm going to show you really fast are my birthday purchases, which were Market releases. Market comes at right before my birthday. So I can usually get them like the week of my birthday. So this is what I picked this year. I had so many that I wanted. It was a great market year. So first of all, my friend Emily Call is um, is a designer, and she had been only on online purchases, but she has since this year was her first time at market. So I bought several of her pieces. So this one is Choose Happy. And I have a pack of Cosmo like teal flosses that I bought at Stitch West. So I'm going to just pick a couple of teals and do that. Then I have Flowers Are. It says I must have flowers always. Then I have It Is Well With My, it's called It Is Well, and it says It Is Well With My Soul. That'll probably be a Sunday stitch for the spring and summer. This one is kind of an unusual one. It's from the Blue Flower. It's called Dutch Tulips. And what I like about it is there's a garden just down the street from me that does a big giant tulip festival every spring. We go every year. We go for my anniversary. We go and walk around, just my husband and I. My kids grew up going there. So that's what this reminds me of. There are a lot of tulips that are kind of these swirly colors there. They actually import a lot of their tulips from Holland. So this really makes me think of that. I do not plan on doing it on the spicy mustard. I plan on doing it on a pale green color that I got at Stitch West from Live and Die LA. And these are, there was a floss pack. So these are the colors for it. Maybe I'll just hurry and take them out. I wasn't going to because I didn't plan it, people. So I was trying to save time. But these are the specialty flosses. So those will make a great start. That was one of the things I was thinking about starting maybe this weekend. I need to see if, my hope is that the pale green still allows the white to show up on it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to figure something else out. So that's kind of what I need. Another blue flower that I picked. Again, kind of a strange choice. Pigeon and Puddle. He just made me laugh. He's so cute. His little like curious face as he's looking in this reflection, and his little galoshes that he's wearing. It made me laugh, so I had to have it. The Blue Flower also did a freebie from Market using the Night Garden thread collection from Threadworks, and I bought all of these from Abby at Top Knot Stitchery. And so she included that freebie as well as Annie B's Luna freebie. But I definitely, so the Blue Flower, her freebie is irises. And I thought those might be really pretty to stitch. I, like everybody else, seems like got Heart and Hands Nativity Tiny Town. That's what it looks like. And of course I had to get the frill that is the Wise Men. Abby included a couple of the Night Garden stickers. Then I purchased the Autumn Lane Stitchery The Apprentice. My daughter saw this and was like, Mom, you have to get this. So there's that little cutie. So that'll probably be a new start here soon. I'll probably do like a green background as well. It looks like it's kind of a brown with some green like smudges on it. This one is Sweater Weather by Robin Pickens. My plan is to leave off this outer border and only do this center part. That's so pretty. That's another one I might just start. So those were my my purchases from my birthday. I picked them all out. I purchased them and then told my husband, okay, my birthday shopping's done. You don't have to do it. So anyway, that is that. It is kind of a crazy time of year. My daughter will be graduating from college at the end of the month. The last day of the month and first day of May is her college graduation. So I plan on doing a couple, like a stitch for her. She's a biology major, so I found it's an animal cell and a plant cell, and I want to finish them in a petri dish. So my goal is to start one of those and get it finished, hopefully for her graduation gift. And then my middle daughter, she's a senior. She's graduating high school at the end of May. And then my boss is retiring, so in May. So I want to stitch her. Our school mascot is a fox. I'm going to stitch her like a fox with the name of our school on it, and the years that she worked there. So I have some gift stitching that I need to get done and focus on. So that'll probably be my focus for the next 2 months. So if you don't see me, that's probably what I'm working on, are those. So anyway, thanks for following with me. I am impressed that it looks like it's maybe under an hour and a half, which I didn't think was going to happen. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.